Admiral Maya Patel stood motionless before the Galactic Defense Council, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display of Earth's defense fleet. The massive chamber, carved from a single asteroid in the Proxima system, hummed with barely contained derision. Above her, representatives from 17 advanced civilizations watched with varying degrees of contempt as High Commander Zarkax of the Hilarion Empire dissected humanity's military capabilities. These vessels, Zarkax's crystalline form pulsed with bioluminescent mockery, barely qualify as interstellar craft. His auxiliary appendages gestured at the hologram, highlighting Earth's smallest Corvette-class ships. No quantum shielding, minimal armor plating, and what you call weapons are little more than point defense systems by our standards. Maya maintained her composure, though her jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Behind her, Lieutenant Commander David Chen, her technical advisor, shifted slightly. They had expected this reaction, had planned for it, even. The Hilarions, with their city-sized warships and energy weapons that could crack moons, had dominated galactic military doctrine for millennia. With respect, High Commander, Maya's voice carried clearly through the chamber. Earth's defensive capabilities are more sophisticated than they appear. A ripple of amusement passed through the assembly. The Hilarion's crystalline structure flickered with patterns that translated roughly to condescending laughter. Sophisticated. Your largest vessel would fit in our secondary cargo hold. When the void comes, and it will come, such toys will offer no protection. The void. Maya suppressed a shiver. Reports of an expanding darkness consuming entire star systems had reached Earth 6 months ago. The Hilarions dismissed it as a natural phenomenon, but Earth's deep space sensors told a different story. Something intelligent lurked in that darkness, something that learned and adapted with frightening speed. Perhaps, Maya conceded, a demonstration would be more convincing than technical specifications. High Commander Zarkax's central core pulsed with intense light, the Hilarion equivalent of raised eyebrows. You wish to participate in the upcoming war games. Very well, Admiral. Your ships may join the exercise next solar cycle. Though I suggest you begin constructing proper warships if you wish to maintain your position in this alliance. Maya bowed slightly, the gesture carefully calculated to appear both respectful and slightly uncertain. As she and Chen left the chamber, they maintained strict silence until they reached their secure shuttle. Only when the quantum encryption field hummed to life did Chen speak. They're so certain they have us figured out, he said, running standard security suites. Should we tell them about Project Silent Shield? Maya shook her head, settling into her acceleration couch. Not yet. Let them keep underestimating us. She activated her neural link, connecting to Earth's highly classified defense network. Deep beneath the surfaces of Mars, Europa, and countless asteroids, humanity's true fleet was taking shape. Not the simple ships the Alliance had seen, but something entirely different. The shuttle detached from the Council Station, its advanced stealth systems, far beyond what the Alliance believed humans capable of, automatically engaging. As they set course for the Sol system, Maya reviewed the latest data from Project Silent Shield. The quantum entanglement readings were stable, the biomechanical integration was proceeding ahead of schedule, and the adaptive defense matrices were showing unprecedented synchronization rates. They see what they expect to see, Maya mused, watching distant stars streak past. Big ships, powerful weapons, thick armor, they're fighting yesterday's war. She pulled up a classified report on her neural display. The latest deep space readings were troubling. The void was moving faster than predicted, consuming systems with increasing efficiency. More concerning were the patterns emerging from the darkness, signs of intelligence, of learning, of evolution. We learned something from our own history, Chen said quietly. From our wars, our near extinctions. It's not about who has the biggest gun. Maya nodded. Humanity had nearly destroyed itself multiple times before reaching the stars. Each crisis had taught them valuable lessons about survival, about adaptation, about thinking differently. While the Hilarians built bigger ships and stronger weapons, Earth had taken a different path. The shuttle's quantum comm pinged with a priority message from Project Silent Shield's chief scientist, Dr. Sarah Lakshmi. Maya's neural link translated the encrypted data directly into her consciousness. The latest test results exceeded all expectations. The biomechanical network was achieving sync rates previously thought impossible, and the adaptive algorithms were evolving faster than any simulation had predicted. "Let them mock our ships," Maya said, a slight smile playing at her lips. "Let them dismiss us as primitive, as weak. When the void comes, and it will come, they'll learn that sometimes the most dangerous predator isn't the one with the sharpest teeth." Chen looked up from his own neural feed. It's the one that can think differently. As their shuttle approached Earth's quantum defense perimeter, Maya thought about the coming storm. The Hilarians, for all their advanced technology, saw warfare as a matter of force meeting force. They never understood that sometimes the best shield wasn't the strongest. It was the one the enemy never saw coming. Humanity's response to the void wouldn't be a bigger ship or a stronger weapon. It would be something entirely new, something that would change the very nature of space warfare. But for now, they would play their part. Let the Alliance doubt. Let the Hilarians mock. After all, being underestimated was humanity's greatest advantage. The darkness came without warning. One moment, the Hilarian border outpost Crystalline Dawn was transmitting routine status updates. The next, all quantum communications ceased. High Commander Zarkax's central core pulsed with agitation as he reviewed the final transmissions in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Defense Council. Impossible. His crystalline form vibrated with disbelief. The outpost's quantum shields were rated to withstand the energy output of a dying sun. He turned to address the assembled representatives, his usual arrogance replaced by something approaching fear. "The void. It's different now. It's not just consuming systems, it's learning." Admiral Maya Patel watched the playback of the outpost's destruction from her position in the chamber. The massive station, nearly the size of Earth's moon, had simply dissolved, its crystalline structure breaking down at the molecular level. No weapons were fired, no massive energy signatures detected. The darkness had simply touched it, and the pride of Hilarian engineering crumbled into cosmic dust. The outpost's defensive systems didn't even activate. Lieutenant Commander Chen whispered beside her. "It's as if the void knew exactly how to bypass them," Maya finished. She accessed her neural link, sending a priority alert to Project Silent Shield. Dr. Lakshmi's response was immediate. They needed more data. The council erupted into chaos as reports of similar attacks flooded in. 3 Merid colony worlds gone. The Zenthari battle fleet vanished without a trace. The void was no longer just expanding. It was hunting. "We must combine our forces." High Commander Zarkax's voice cut through the panic. "All ships, all weapons. We will meet this threat with overwhelming power." His crystalline form pulsed with battle light, a sight that would have inspired awe mere days ago. Maya stepped forward. "With respect, High Commander, perhaps we should analyze the enemy's tactics before committing our forces." Zarkax's secondary crystals vibrated with derision. "Analysis, while worlds die. This is why humanity remains a minor power, Admiral. You think too much and act too little." He turned to the council. "I motion for an immediate military response. All Alliance members will contribute their full fleet strength to a combined assault force." The council's approval was nearly unanimous. Only Earth abstained. Later, in the secure confines of their shuttle, Chen voiced what they were both thinking. "They're walking into a trap." Maya nodded, reviewing the latest data from Silent Shield. "The void isn't just consuming technology, it's absorbing information. Each victory makes it stronger, smarter." She pulled up a classified feed from Earth's quantum sensor network. "Look at these patterns. The attacks aren't random." Chen studied the data, his eyes widening. "It's testing defenses, learning weaknesses, But why show its hand now? Why not stay hidden until? A priority alert cut him off. The combined Alliance fleet had engaged the void at the edge of Hilarion space. Maya activated the live feed, her heart sinking as the battle unfolded. The Alliance's massive ships, each a testament to advanced engineering, fired planet-cracking weapons into the darkness. For a moment, it seemed to work. The void retreated, seemingly pushed back by the sheer force of the assault. Then it changed. The darkness rippled, patterns of impossible geometry forming within its depths. Where energy weapons struck, the void simply absorbed them. Kinetic rounds disappeared without impact. And then, with terrifying precision, it struck back. Maya watched in horror as ship after ship went dark, their quantum shields failing as if they had never existed. The proud Hilarion dreadnoughts, each the product of millennia of military evolution, crumbled like paper in a storm. The void wasn't just destroying them, it was learning from them, adapting to each new weapon and defense. "Get me Dr. Lakshmi," Maya ordered, her voice tight. "The timeline has moved up. We need silent shield operational now." The quantum comm crackled with Dr. Lakshmi's response. "Admiral, the system isn't ready. The biomechanical integration is still unstable, and the adaptive matrices. We're out of time, Doctor." Maya cut her off, watching another Hilarion battle group dissolve into nothingness. The void isn't just consuming technology anymore. It's consuming knowledge. Every ship it destroys makes it stronger. If we wait. Understanding. Dr. Lakshmi's voice was grim. "But Admiral, you need to see this." New data flooded Maya's neural link. Analysis of the void's attack patterns. It's not random destruction. The void is selecting targets, learning from each engagement. These patterns suggest intelligence. Maya finished. Not just adaptation, but genuine strategic thinking. She studied the battle data, seeing what the Alliance forces couldn't. The void wasn't just winning. It was experimenting, testing different approaches, learning from each encounter. Their shuttle docked at Luna Base Alpha, Earth's primary defense installation. Deep beneath the lunar surface, Project Silent Shield hummed with activity. As Maya and Chen hurried through security, Dr. Lakshmi met them in the quantum lab, her dark eyes intense. "We've made a breakthrough," she announced without preamble. "The last attack confirmed our theories. The void isn't just a force of nature. It's a collective intelligence growing more complex with each absorption." The main display showed a real-time simulation of the void's evolution. With each engagement, its structure became more organized, more purposeful. It wasn't just destroying, it was building something. That's why conventional weapons fail, Chen realized. You can't fight an enemy that learns from every attack. Exactly, Dr. Lakshmi nodded. But what if we could turn that adaptation against it? Silent Shield isn't just a defense system, it's a mirror. Maya studied the latest test results. The biomechanical network they'd built wasn't designed to block or destroy. It was designed to reflect, to redirect, to turn the enemy's strengths into weaknesses. "How long?" she asked. "The core system is ready," Dr. Lakshmi replied. "But Admiral, there's a catch. The neural load. It requires direct human interface. Someone has to merge with the system, become the controlling intelligence." Maya's neural link pinged with an urgent council update. The Alliance fleet was in full retreat. The void had adapted to every weapon, every defense. Now it was advancing faster than ever, its patterns becoming more complex, more deadly. "Prepare the interface," Maya ordered. "I'll do it." Chen started to protest, but Maya cut him off. The Alliance's greatest weapons just failed. Their strongest shields proved useless. "We tried to warn them that size and power weren't the answer." She smiled grimly. "Now it's time to show them why humanity survived its own dark ages." As the integration chamber powered up, Maya thought about the Hilarions' mockery, their dismissal of Earth's primitive technology. They never understood that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in the size of its ships or the power of its weapons. It was in its ability to adapt, to think differently, to turn weakness into strength. The neural interface descended, and Maya prepared to become one with humanity's greatest creation. Not a weapon of destruction, but a shield of understanding. The Void was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous opponent isn't the strongest, but the one who knows how to dance with the darkness. Pain. That was Admiral Maya Patel's first sensation as her consciousness merged with Project Silent Shield. Her mind expanded through quantum pathways, stretching across space itself. She was everywhere and nowhere, her thoughts dancing through the biomechanical network humanity had built beneath the surface of worlds and moons throughout the solar system. Neural integration at 67%. Dr. Lakshmi's voice seemed to come from a great distance. Quantum coherence stable. Biomechanical synchronization proceeding. Maya felt the network responding to her thoughts, countless microscopic machines adjusting their behavior based on her neural patterns. This wasn't like any neural link she'd used before. She wasn't just connecting to a computer system. She was becoming one with it. Admiral. Chen's worried voice cut through the quantum static. The Void has breached the Hilarion home system. Their capital is under attack. Through Silent Shield sensors, Maya perceived the battle in ways no normal human could. The Void wasn't just darkness anymore. It was a tapestry of information, each thread a piece of absorbed knowledge, each pattern a stolen technology. She could see how it had learned, adapted, grown stronger with each victory. Remarkable, she whispered, her voice echoing strangely through the quantum field. It's not just destroying, it's transforming, taking apart advanced technology and rebuilding it into something new. The main display showed the Hilarion capital world, its crystalline cities gleaming under triple suns. The Void approached like a living shadow, tendrils of darkness probing the planet's legendary quantum shields. High Commander Zarkax's voice boomed across all frequencies, ordering his remaining forces to hold the line. Neural integration at 89%. Dr. Lakshmi reported. Admiral, the system is responding to your cognitive patterns better than any simulation predicted. But the neural load, I can handle it, Maya interrupted, though her consciousness felt stretched to breaking point. Through Silent Shield, she could feel the approaching darkness like a pressure against her mind. The Void wasn't just a mindless force. It was curious, intelligent, learning. The Hilarion capital's defenses were failing. Their mighty weapons, capable of shattering planets, passed harmlessly through the darkness. The Void had learned from every previous encounter, adapting to render each weapon useless. Now it reached out with tentacles of living shadow, beginning to dismantle the crystal cities with terrible precision. Silent Shield is fully operational, Dr. Lakshmi announced. But Admiral, you need to know. The system's predictions suggest this will change you. The neural integration, it's not meant to be temporary. Maya watched through quantum-enhanced senses as the Hilarion capital began to fall. High Commander Zarkax's crystalline form pulsed with desperate energy as he coordinated the evacuation. His pride had finally shattered in the face of an enemy that couldn't be beaten by sheer force. Launch the probe, Maya ordered. Let's introduce ourselves. A small device, barely larger than a human hand, detached from Luna Base and accelerated toward the quantum gateway. It carried no weapons, no shields, nothing that the Void could learn from or adapt to. Instead, it carried something far more dangerous, an idea. The probe emerged in the Hilarion system just as the capital's last defenses failed. The Void immediately detected it, tendrils of darkness reaching out to consume this new threat. But when they touched the probe, something unexpected happened. Instead of being absorbed or destroyed, the probe responded. Microscopic machines, guided by Maya's consciousness through Silent Shield, began to dance with the darkness. They didn't fight against it. They moved with it, through it, reflecting its patterns back at itself. My God, Chen breathed, watching the display. It's working. The Void paused its assault on the Hilarion capital, its attention fully captured by this new phenomenon. It tried to absorb the probe's technology, but the biomechanical systems weren't like anything it had encountered before. They didn't resist. They adapted, changed, reflected the Void's own patterns back at it in endless recursive loops. Maya felt the strain as she guided the interaction through Silent Shield. Her consciousness expanded further, touching the edges of the Void itself. And for the first time, she truly understood what they were facing. "It's lonely," she whispered, her voice carrying through quantum channels. "The Void. It consumes because it seeks understanding. Each piece of technology, each bit of knowledge. It's trying to learn, to grow, to become something more." Through Silent Shield, Maya reached out not with weapons or shields, but with something the Void had never encountered: empathy. The biomechanical network didn't try to destroy or contain. It offered connection, communication, understanding. The Void's response was immediate and dramatic. Its attack on the Hilarion capital halted as it focused entirely on this new phenomenon. Dark tendrils wrapped around the probe, not to destroy but to examine, to comprehend. "Send the rest," Maya ordered, her consciousness stretched to its limits. Across the solar system, hundreds more probes launched, each carrying the same message: "You don't have to destroy to understand." The Void's patterns began to change. Where before there was only consumption and adaptation, now there was hesitation, curiosity. Through Silent Shield, Maya could feel its confusion, its sudden uncertainty as it encountered something it couldn't simply absorb or destroy. In the Hilarion capital, High Commander Zarkax watched in disbelief as the darkness retreated from his world. His sensors couldn't understand what they were seeing. The Void wasn't being destroyed or driven away. It was being transformed. "What are we seeing?" Chen asked, his voice filled with wonder. "The beginning," Maya replied, her consciousness now irrevocably changed by its integration with Silent Shield. "We didn't build a weapon to destroy the Void. We built a bridge to understand it." Through quantum channels came the shocked voices of the Galactic Defense Council, watching as humanity's primitive technology accomplished what all their advanced weapons could not. The Void was withdrawing not just from the Hilarion capital, but from all its recent conquests, pulling back to study this new phenomenon. Maya felt her consciousness expanding further, touching minds both human and alien through the quantum network. Silent Shield wasn't just a defense system. It was becoming something more, a new kind of interface between the known and the unknown. "Send word to the Council," she managed, her voice strained but determined. Tell them that sometimes the best way to defeat an enemy is to turn it into a friend." As her awareness spread through the network, Maya realized that humanity's greatest achievement wasn't building bigger ships or stronger weapons. It was understanding that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the courage to reach out and connect. The war wasn't over, not yet, but for the first time since the Void appeared, there was hope. Not the hope of victory through force, but something far more powerful, the hope of understanding. The Galactic Defense Council chamber had changed. Where once crystalline walls reflected the light of distant stars, now shadows danced in impossible patterns, beautiful and terrifying. Through the quantum-enhanced senses of Silent Shield, Admiral Maya Patel perceived the movements of both light and darkness, watching as they performed an endless dance of transformation. 3 weeks had passed since humanity's first true contact with the Void. Maya's consciousness, permanently altered by her integration with Silent Shield, now existed in a state between human and something else. She could feel the biomechanical network humming through her thoughts, connecting her to both the quantum machines and the living darkness that had once threatened to consume the galaxy. "The patterns are stabilizing," she reported to the assembled council, her voice carrying harmonics that made the crystalline chamber resonate. "The Void is learning, not just adapting, but understanding." High Commander Zarkax's form pulsed with mixed emotions: fear, fascination, and lingering pride struggling for dominance. Understanding. It destroyed 12 systems, Admiral. It consumed centuries of advanced technology. And now you claim it simply wants to talk. Maya gestured, and the chamber's holographic display came alive with intricate patterns. Through Silent Shield, she translated the Void's complex communications into something the Council could comprehend. It's not just talking, she explained. It's sharing. Every piece of technology it absorbed, every bit of knowledge it consumed, it wasn't trying to destroy. It was trying to learn to grow. And now, she paused, allowing her consciousness to touch the edges of the darkness that now peacefully coexisted within the chamber. Now it wants to give back. Lieutenant Commander Chen stepped forward, his neural link synchronized with Silent Shield at a basic level. We've already begun integrating some of the Void's shared knowledge into our defense systems. The results are extraordinary. The display shifted, showing new configurations of ships and stations. Not the massive dreadnoughts the Hilarians had once favored, but elegant hybrid designs that incorporated both traditional technology and the Void's fluid adaptability. Impossible, one of the Merid representatives whispered. The energy requirements alone would. That's because you're thinking in terms of opposition. Maya interrupted gently. Force against force, shield against weapon. The Void doesn't work that way. It doesn't fight against physics. It dances with it. Through Silent Shield, she demonstrated. The shadows in the chamber shifted, forming into complex structures that defied conventional engineering. Where traditional ships needed massive engines and shields, these new designs flowed through space itself, riding the quantum currents that existed between stars. But the danger, Zarkax protested, though his crystalline form betrayed fascination. How can we trust an entity that consumed entire worlds? Maya smiled, an expression that carried through both her human face and the quantum field surrounding her. The same way humanity learned to trust itself. By understanding our mistakes, by choosing to grow beyond them. The chamber's displays showed the progress of the integration. Across the galaxy, the Void was withdrawing from conquered systems. But it wasn't just retreating. It was helping to rebuild. Knowledge absorbed was now knowledge shared, transformed by understanding into something new. We stand at a crossroads, Maya announced, her consciousness touching both the quantum network and the living darkness. We can cling to our old ways of thinking, of building bigger weapons and stronger shields, or we can embrace this opportunity to become something more. Through Silent Shield, she could feel the ripples of change spreading through galactic civilization. The Void's presence had forced them all to confront their limitations, their assumptions about strength and weakness, about victory and defeat. Dr. Lakshmi's voice came through her quantum link, sharing new data from Earth's research facilities. The integration of Void-derived knowledge with human technology was proceeding faster than anyone had predicted. But more importantly, the biological component of Silent Shield was evolving, creating new possibilities for communication and understanding. The Void isn't just a force to be contained, Maya explained to the Council. It's a mirror, showing us what we could become if we move beyond our fears, beyond our need to dominate and control. She demonstrated by allowing a tendril of darkness to flow through her hand, its patterns shifting in response to her thoughts. The chamber fell silent as council members watched technology they had feared transformed into something beautiful. But there are still risks, Chen reminded everyone. The integration isn't perfect. There are elements within the Void that resist understanding, that cling to the old patterns of consumption and destruction. Maya nodded, feeling the discord through Silent Shield, which is why we need to work together. Not as separate species with separate agendas, but as a unified force for transformation. The display shifted again, showing the new defense network taking shape throughout the galaxy. Not walls of shields and weapons, but an intricate web of communication and understanding, powered by the merged knowledge of all species, including the Void itself. We don't need to be stronger than our enemies, Maya declared, her voice carrying the harmonics of both human speech and quantum resonance. We need to be wise enough to turn enemies into allies, to transform conflict into cooperation. High Commander Zarkax's crystalline form shifted, displaying patterns that indicated deep thought. And if we refuse, if we choose to maintain our traditional defenses, then you will be left behind, Maya said simply. The galaxy is changing. The question isn't whether to adapt, but how. Through silent shield, she felt the ripples of her words spreading through the quantum field, touching minds and machines across vast distances. The old paradigm of force meeting force was crumbling, replaced by something far more powerful, the strength of understanding. But even as she spoke, Maya felt a discordant note through the network. Somewhere in the darkness between stars, elements of the void still clung to their old patterns, refusing the call to transform. A final confrontation was coming, not between light and darkness, but between the forces of change and those who refused to evolve. The true test of Silent Shield was about to begin. The darkness between stars was no longer empty. Through Silent Shield's quantum-enhanced perception, Admiral Maya Patel watched as patterns of light and shadow performed an intricate dance across the galaxy. Most of the void had embraced transformation, merging with the biomechanical network to create something entirely new. But not all. "They're coming," she announced to the assembled fleet, her consciousness stretched across thousands of ships. The combined forces of the galaxy had gathered at the edge of known space, not as separate species, but as a unified force. Even the Hilarians, their crystalline ships now transformed by void-enhanced technology, stood ready. Through Silent Shield, Maya felt them approach, the last remnants of the old void, the parts that refused to evolve. They came not as a wave of darkness, but as a twisted mirror of everything the Alliance had become, wearing stolen knowledge like broken armor. "Remember," her voice carried through quantum channels, touching both organic minds and artificial intelligence, "we're not here to destroy. We're here to transform." High Commander Zarkax's flagship, now a hybrid of crystalline technology and living shadow, moved into position beside Earth's vessels. The old me would have called this madness. His thoughts resonated through the quantum field, fighting darkness not with light, but with understanding. "Not fighting at all," Maya corrected gently. "Dancing." The resistant void struck first, tentacles of anti-light reaching out to consume and corrupt. But this time, the Alliance was ready. Ships moved in patterns choreographed through Silent Shield, not avoiding the darkness but moving with it, through it, reflecting its own nature back at itself. Maya's consciousness expanded through the network, touching the minds of every being in the fleet. Through Silent Shield, they moved as one, not a force of destruction, but a catalyst for change. The biomechanical systems humanity had created didn't try to destroy the darkness. They offered it a choice. "Show them," Maya commanded, and the dance began. Thousands of ships, guided by the merged consciousness of organic and artificial intelligence, began to move in impossible patterns. They traced sacred geometries through space itself, each movement a message, each formation a demonstration of what was possible when understanding replaced fear. The resistant void hesitated, its patterns showing confusion. It had expected weapons, shields, resistance. Instead, it faced something it couldn't consume or corrupt, a mirror of its own potential. Through Silent Shield, Maya reached out to touch the darkness directly. Not with weapons or shields, but with the one thing it had never truly encountered: acceptance. "You don't have to consume to understand." Her thoughts rippled through space itself. "You don't have to destroy to grow. Look." The Alliance fleet transformed, ships merging with shadows, crystals dancing with darkness. They showed the resistant void what its brethren had become, not conquered or contained, but evolved into something greater. For a moment that stretched across quantum eternities, the galaxy held its breath. Then, slowly, the patterns of the resistant void began to change, not breaking or surrendering, but questioning, learning, understanding. "They're transforming." Dr. Lakshmi's voice came through the quantum link. filled with wonder, not just adapting, but choosing to change. Maya felt it through Silent Shield, the moment when fear became curiosity, when the need to consume was replaced by the desire to connect. The resistant void didn't disappear or surrender. Instead, it began to dance with them, its patterns gradually shifting from chaos to harmony. "This is how it ends," Maya whispered, her consciousness touching both light and shadow. Not with destruction, but with transformation. Through the quantum network, she felt the ripples of change spreading across the galaxy. The void, once feared as a force of destruction, was becoming something else entirely. A bridge between the known and the unknown, a catalyst for evolution itself. High Commander Zarkax's crystalline form pulsed with new understanding. "We thought we needed stronger weapons, bigger ships. But all we really needed was the courage to change," Maya finished, "to see beyond our fears and limitations." As the last of the resistant void merged with the network, Maya felt Silent Shield evolving once again. It was no longer just a defense system or a communication network. It had become something more. A living bridge between all forms of consciousness, organic and artificial, light and shadow. The Galactic Defense Council would need to change as well. No longer a body focused on military might, but a forum for sharing knowledge, for guiding evolution itself. The old hierarchies of technological advancement meant nothing now. Every species, from the crystalline Hilarians to the youngest space-faring races, had something unique to contribute to the dance. "What now?" Chen asked through the quantum link, his mind touching the edges of this new reality. Maya smiled, feeling the infinite possibilities unfolding through Silent Shield. "Now we explore, not as conquerors or defenders, but as dancers in the greatest dance of all, the evolution of consciousness itself." Across the galaxy, shadows and light continued their eternal dance. But now they moved not in opposition, but in harmony, each pattern enriching the other, each transformation leading to something new and wonderful. The void had come to consume the galaxy. Instead, it had helped birth something greater. A civilization that understood that true strength lies not in the power to destroy, but in the courage to transform. And in the darkness between stars, Admiral Maya Patel danced with shadows. Her consciousness stretched across the quantum field, no longer just human or machine or void, but something new. A bridge between all forms of being, a guardian not of borders but of possibility itself. The Silent Shield had become what humanity had always hoped it would be, not a barrier against the unknown, but a doorway to understanding it. And in that understanding, they had all found something greater than victory. They had found evolution itself.